Why does being 24 feel like 54 already?
हर एक 20-year-old को लगता है कि वो बूढ़े हो चुके हैं। सर, जिंदगी खत्म हो गई सर। कुछ नहीं किया है अभी तक जिंदगी में। लोग कितना आगे जा चुके हैं। मैं 20 साल की हूँ और मुझे कोई आइडिया नहीं है कि जिंदगी में मुझे क्या करना चाहिए।
ऐसे लोगों को मैं पता है क्या बोलता हूँ, जब मेरे को कोई ऐसे बोलता है मैं कहता हूँ मर गए हो क्या?
Exactly, like मैं 42 years का हूँ and I cannot even begin to tell you how young 42 is.
Agreed.
इतनी लंबी जिंदगी है और इतनी खूबसूरत आप जिंदगी बना सकते हैं कि the worst thing you will do is कि अपने अरमानों पे एक डेडलाइन डाल देना. Don't do that.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Priyanka, your chaotic consultant. And today I have a question. Why does being 24 feel like 54 already? Seriously, why does everyone around me feel like they are 5 minutes away from their expiration date? We treat our careers like we are sprinting Olympics, but we treat our mental health like that one chair we have in our room where we pile up all the laundry, just ignoring it until it collapses. We are the generation who wants to retire by 40, settle down by 25, and if we are not a billionaire by 22, we feel like a failure.
I swear that there's an epidemic of women that are mentally exhausted right now. Every single person that I'm speaking to is literally in fight or flight. Whether it's like my age and being in my mid-20s or if it's just the time. I genuinely thought that it was just me and that everybody had their life together until I started having proper conversations with people and I realised they absolutely don't. Whether it's accidental self-neglect or what, but I feel like I've just completely lost my passion for anything. I don't recognise myself anymore and I just feel like so detached from day-to-day life. I don't even know if any of this is even making any sense. And I think about my mum and dad at my age, right? And they've got kids and they're married. And I just don't know how they did that. Like, I literally couldn't think of anything worse than trying to add kids into the mix. How did they do this? So I don't know. I just want to know if anyone else feels like this in my little online circles. The more I talk about it, the more I realise that I'm absolutely not alone. And I just kind of want some help on how we're going to get through this. Because I am just a girl. So please tell me this is not just me.
Your parents probably might think you are impatient. They think you want instant gratification because you use Swiggy or Instamart. But as your psychologist, I am here to tell you that they are wrong. You are not rushing because you're greedy. You're rushing because you are terrified. Today, we are going to talk about existence ratio.
Nothing good happens after 8 p.m. And one of the things that's fucking up your sleep, fucking up your happiness, is that doom scrolling late at night. Nothing productive ever happens on your phone after 8 p.m. So get a good routine of switching off social media after 8 p.m. And if you're like me, put your phone on charge downstairs and go to sleep in your cave upstairs.
We are going to look at why people are dying of heart attacks young age, which has rewired your brain, why the corporate blueprint is a scam, and why you feel like you're running out of time. Grab your coffee, let's debug this mess. Let's start with dark stuff. Have you noticed how everyone feels so fragile lately? In the 90s, if you heard that somebody had a heart attack, you would imagine that person could be over at least 65 years old. Ate too much of ghee or fats or whatever, right? Open your Instagram, you see a 28-year-old fitness model drop dead. You see your friends getting autoimmune diseases at 23 years. This isn't just sad news. This is biological data. In psychology, we have a concept called mortality salience. It comes from something called terror management theory.
You and I know we're gonna die. We don't know what happens after, but because of this awareness, we try to do things that we don't need to do. Let me explain. Terror management theory is this theory that because we have a prefrontal cortex and we're basically the only species that can ponder the future and the past and know we're gonna die and can't tolerate that anxiety, we basically have to keep ourselves busy and do meaningless stuff to feel important. We have to win awards, we have to win titles, we have to get things in order to have a sense of immortality mortality, right? It's basically just managing the anxiety of knowing that we're basically just rotting every day. We're just dying and could die at any moment. Everything we do past basic survival and stuff to make surviving easier for ourselves is really just done to impose a false sense of control and longevity in our lives, because
It basically says humans are unique because we know we are going to die. We can imagine the future, we understand casuality, and we can reflect on ourselves and create anxiety. So, how do we cope? We build that researchers call a cultural anxiety buffer, a worldview that gives life a meaning, and self esteem that tells us we are valuable inside the worldview. When the buffer works, we feel stable. But when mortality becomes more visible, what psychologists call mortality salience, we cling harder to things that promise meaning and significance. Now think about this generation: pandemic, climate anxiety, young influencers dying of heart attacks, global instability constantly streamed into your pockets. Your brain is repeatedly reminded you are not guaranteed time. That doesn't make you reckless, it makes you urgent. Not because you're greedy, because existential threat increases the need for significance. So you hustle not to flex, but to feel like your life matters.
हर एक इंसान ना दूसरे को देख के लगता है यार वो कुछ ऐसा कर रहा है जो मैं नहीं कर रहा हूँ फोमो 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 फोमो
हर एक 20 year old को लगता है कि वो बूढ़े हो चुके हैं। सर जिंदगी खत्म हो गई सर, कुछ नहीं किया है अभी तक जिंदगी में।
फोमो की बुनियाद इम्पेशंस है। अगर आप पेशेंट हैं देन यू डोंट केयर कि आपके साथ कब होता है, यू ओनली केयर कि आपके साथ होता है कि नहीं। मैं जब मर रहा हूँ तो ये तो नहीं बोलूंगा यार 30 में खरीदना था लेकिन 32 में आया, सच अ फेलियर। वो ये तो नहीं बोलता मरते हुए।
इतनी लंबी जिंदगी है और इतनी खूबसूरत आप जिंदगी बना सकते हैं कि द वर्स्ट थिंग यू विल डू इज कि अपने अरमानों पे एक डेडलाइन डाल देना।
Let's talk about money. Your parents had a blueprint. Study hard, get a job at stable MNC or a bank, buy a house for 20 lakhs, retire with a pension. That blueprint is currently, how do I put this gently, on fire? Let's look at the math. In 2010, a starter's salary in Bangalore was maybe around 3 lakhs. And guess what? The starter salary in 2024 is still 3 lakhs. But the rent in Indranagar, it went from manageable to sell your kidney now. Psychologically, this creates learned helplessness. You work hard, but the reward keeps moving away further away. So Gen Z looks at this and goes, why should I play the long game? The game is rigged. That's why we want to get rich fast, not because we are lazy, but because slow and steady looks like slow and stupid in this economy. And then there is Instagram, root of all evil, also where I post my cute pictures. If you haven't checked out my Instagram, do go check out. I do post some interesting stuff over there. More about psychology for our modern day living. Hope you guys will like it. Getting back to the topic. In the past, you only compared yourself to your neighbor's son, who was a Sharma ji ka beta, and now you are comparing yourself with the whole world. He was annoying, but he was one guy. Open your phone and compare yourself to a 19-year-old in Silicon Valley who just sold an AI startup for $50 million. In 1954, Leon Festinger proposed social comparison theory.
You might feel fine about your career until you see a classmate on LinkedIn with a fancy new job title. You might feel proud of your apartment until a friend buys a house. You might feel good about your relationship until you scroll past someone else's engagement photos. This is social comparison theory. Our worth gets measured not against our own progress, but against the timelines of people around us.
He argued that humans evaluate themselves by comparing with similar others. Similarity is the key. A college student compares with classmates, not billionaires, but social media destroyed similarity principle. Now you don't compare yourself with the Sharmaji ka beta. You compare yourself to a 22-year-old startup founders, 19-year-old influencers, 30 under 30 lists. The problem? They are statistically outliers. Festinger's theory suggests that when comparison targets are too divergent, evaluation becomes unstable. But the digital environment does not allow you to stop comparing. You are constantly exposed, so your brain receives repeated signals. You're behind. That produces something that resembles chronophobia. Not clinical phobia, but a persistent fear of time passing. You feel late at 23, which is objectively absurd, but psychologically real. This brings me to the FIRE movement. Everyone I know wants to retire by 40. But why? Boomers think it's because we don't want to work. I disagree. We want to work. We love working. We will edit reels for 6 hours for free. We hate being owned.
I think it's just called self-determination theory, where the idea is that not only are we trying to figure out what to do in any given circumstance, but that underlying that, there's always this idea that we're trying to maximize our own agency through time. We're trying to always maximize our autonomous control of the situation. And one way to do that is to anticipate what's this next environment going to be like, and how much control am I going to be in that if I choose this choice now, puts me in that situation, then I'm going to be screwed if such and such happens, right?
Self-determination theory says humans need 3 things to thrive: competence, relatedness, autonomy. Autonomy is critical. It's the feeling that you are the author of your life. Modern corporate environments often undermine it. Surveillance, micromanagement, contingent rewards, constant performance matrix. When autonomy is baffled, vitality drops. You feel controlled. So when Gen Z says, I want to retire by 40, it's not always about yachts. For many, it's about buying back autonomy. It's not laziness, it's an attempt to escape chronic external control. It's not a financial goal, it's a safety goal.
Have you felt that age has been an advantage or a disadvantage in growing Trinity London?
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
It is irrelevant. Your age is the least relevant thing. It's about your passion when you get up in the morning. It's about the energy you bring into the room. It's about the conviction you have about what you're doing. And whether you're 30 or 50, it doesn't matter. I mean, I was so flattered to be on 50 though. That did matter to me because I felt that I meet so many women who think, is it too late for me to do something? So that is when it's relevant. It's to say to them, it's never, ever too late. If you have an idea and you're passionate and you have a belief and you know you're filling a gap in the market, do it.
So, where does all this leave us? We are a generation terrified of dying young, traumatized by the economy and gaslighted by Instagram. I can't fix the economy, and I can't promise you immortality. But as your chaos consultant, I can give you this advice. Detach from the timeline. You're not behind, you're just in your own time zone. Comparison is just you drinking a poison and waiting for the other person to die. Redefine what's enough for you. Stop chasing the maximum life. Start chasing optimum life, where there is peace, good sleep, spending good time with friends. The maximum life usually comes with maximum stress. Accept the uncertainty. You might not live to 80, or you might live to 100. Rushing won't change the outcome. It will just ruin the journey. Take a deep breath. You have time. And even if the world is ending tomorrow, at least we looked good doing it. So, I'm signing off today. Go drink some water and get out of LinkedIn. It's toxic. And please take care of yourself. I'll see you on the next one.